can mute if I get knocked back. There you go. Oh! Oh! Hello guys, Mr. E here, and taking a look at a Zealot build today. This is a support Zealot. So this Zealot is really relying on a lot of the Zealot's base strengths. We don't actually need all that much for ourselves in order to provide some pretty decent damage, and so that we can turn the rest of the build over to supporting our allies. And the Zealot actually ends up being one of the better supports in the game, even though they nerfed the cooldown on his chorus ability. This is of course going to be a chorus build. He's still very, very good, and a lot of that comes down to his mobility, his ability to res allies and get into positions where it's going to make the enemy's lives a lot harder, to suppress the enemies, to distract, to make the plays that other characters can't because they lack the mobility and they lack the durability, and that's what the Zealot has in spades. And of course he can pump out some pretty decent damage at the same time. Before I get into exactly how this build is set up, if you want to help me reach Warhammer 40k subs before the end of the year, it would be greatly appreciated. Go down below and subscribe, and perhaps even become a channel member if you wish. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the things. Let's start off with our weapons. We're going to be using the combat blade, the Katachan Mark 6. The Mark 6 is just the better of the two variants. This is going to allow us to do this attack right here, which is a heavy one sweep, and of course the other bread and butter attack, which is the push stab, this little pokey poke. This attack counts as a heavy attack, and it also is just incredibly damaging for a single target. You can very, very quickly poke headshots over and over again and stack up some serious damage. As far as stats here, we want to drop mobility as low as possible. Don't worry, you won't miss it. You are lightning fast with this thing regardless of having 60 or 80 mobility. Then for perks, we want to go flak unyielding, although your other options are crit unyielding or carapace unyielding. I just tend to find that I don't really need the crit thanks to some of our talent and blessing choices, and the carapace armor typing is only applicable to crushers currently, so I don't really see that being too much of an issue. Flak will just allow us to evaporate many more types of enemies than those types will. Unyielding is going to allow us to contribute actually pretty decent damage towards monstrosity bosses. Our bleeds and our direct attacks are some of the more effective things against those targets, so don't be shy about getting in there and stacking up those bleeds on the targets. And speaking of, we got to talk about blessings. Firstly, here we are of course using Uncanny Strike. You know, that's going to allow us to rend, which means we're going to be dealing true damage to things like, well, specifically just to crushers, right? The most difficult enemy to deal with in the game right now, and that's pretty much a must-have. But then the other blessing is Lacerate, and this is a very curious one. You probably haven't seen this in a whole lot of builds, but what the goal is here is to instantly apply bleeds to every enemy that we touch, right? If we just body shot them at all, they'll be bleeding, and that means that we can then stack our own talents of Scourge on them and get more and more crit chance. And it also means that these enemies are going to be taking 15% extra damage from every member of the team thanks to talents in the tree. So when we've got heavy targets around, you want to start off by getting a light attack on them or just a body shot somewhere so that they start bleeding, so they start taking extra damage, and then you can stack your crit chance from there. We'll go on to talk about more about why we're choosing this blessing when we look at the talents in a second. For the range weapon, I recommend the Spearhead Bolt Gun, although a really good other option would be the Bolt Pistol. The bolt pistol having this puncture blessing is really, really nice for us here. It allows us to put those bleeds, as aforementioned bleeds, on enemies. I don't really like the flamer with this build because it takes too much time out of doing what you do best, which is getting up in enemies' faces, being distracting to them, being in their way, and also we are losing cooldown reduction because we're not actively getting crits with melee attacks when we're using the purgation flamer. So I think your options really are very quickly dumping, mag dumping with the spearhead bolt gun, or going through for the bolt pistol. So those are my recommendations to you there. Let's go on and by the way, that was my Discord. Let's go on and well, first I'll talk about the spearhead bolt gun, I guess. Cavalcade and pinning fire with carapace unyielding. There you go. Okay, great. The ranged weapon really isn't all that important, but the reason we want to go for this over the flamer is that it takes too much time. And so this is just magged up and move on. Okay, for Curios. Toughness all the way across. We don't really need too much else. We want to be as defensive as possible in this build. We're relying on the Zealot's strong baseline stats as far as stamina regeneration, movement, and offense to kind of bolster us. We're going to be a tank, but we're going to put out some decent damage for ourselves. In addition, we're going to run these 3 perks on all 3: combat ability regeneration, stamina regeneration, and revive speed for allies. Now, this is why we use that stamina regeneration. Look how fast my stamina regenerates. Right, that's very, very quick, and it also allows us to sprint and slide a lot. You'll see me doing lots and lots of fancy movement in the game, and just having a split second can allow you enough time to regenerate your entire stamina bar and get some more movement out there. Movement is of the utmost importance with this build. We are also going to be running combat ability regeneration because, of course, we are using Chorus, and Chorus has one of the longest cooldowns in the game, and so we need to be able to cool that down just that little bit faster. It makes a lot of difference. It makes about 8 seconds of difference to have these 3 Curios, and that can literally change a game. And I don't know if I mentioned, but revive speed here, super useful. 61% revive speed total on this build, which means we are getting allies up in less than half the time. 1.4-ish seconds is how long it takes us to get our allies up, which makes a world of difference compared to the 3 whole seconds it normally takes. Okay, let's talk talents, guys. Remember, this is a build that is designed for higher difficulties, by the way. I can't really see a situation in which you need to bring a support-focused build on anything below Auric Maelstrom, but you do you. That's just my way of saying a lot of what you're going to be seeing here is very defensive focused because we need to be staying safe. We are a core element. We are the backbone of the team, right? We are the glue that's holding it together. We're providing suppression. We're providing gold toughness. And as long as we can stay alive, we can waste a lot of the enemy's time while our allies are the ones really, really pumping the damage. Although we're no shabs in terms of dealing damage ourselves. Speaking of dealing damage, we've got Disdain and Backstabber up here, 2 really great passive damage increase talents. Disdain on average is usually about 10 to 15% damage across the whole game because many times you're dealing with between 2 and 4 enemies that you're hitting at once. Remember, with this dagger, we've got this nice heavy attack 1 here that you can just rinse and repeat by blocking like that, and you'll just be able to cleave enemies over and over again for increased damage. We've also got Backstabber, which is going to give 25% increased damage whenever we're backstabbing. Flanking is just in terms of backstabbing, but for ranged weapons. Those really add up, right? Because bosses aren't always targeting you. Very, very seldom they aren't targeting you. If you got an Ogre and Batant on your team, or if you've got enemies that are running towards an ally, you get behind them, you start stabbing them, and once you become a more advanced player, you can really start to see how the enemies are positioning and get behind them and do an execution in this sort of way, right? Just blocking, shoving, and repositioning will allow you to really capitalize on this damage plus this damage and absolutely blow up some targets. So do be taking advantage of the fact that you are very mobile and getting behind enemies for that bonus damage. Then we've got Second Wind and enemies within, enemies without here. Tons of defense, right? This is going to be our active defense when we're dodging, but just all the time when we're around enemies, we're going to be replenishing toughness. And this just allows us to, 1, solo bosses very easily because we're just constantly generating toughness. But this also allows us to dive deep into the enemy formations. What we want to be doing is getting in there, using our mobility to get right up on enemies, attack them, disrupt their position, make them focus on you, slide around, waste their time, make them shoot at you instead of your allies, and then when you're just on the brink of getting your toughness broken or getting hurt, then you pop Chorus and stop all the enemies in your tracks, and you've effectively just negated a ton of enemies forever. This allows us to buy that much more time, right? 7.5% per second is a lot, so make certain you're surrounded by lots of enemies so you're getting maximum value out of this. Speaking of dealing damage, again, we've got some damage against Unyielding and Infested here. It allows us, and our bleeds specifically, just light attacking like a goober, like just like this, into hordes is a great way to clear hordes because we've got 20% extra horde clear damage with this. And of course, Unyielding is going to stack with the Unyielding that's already on our blade, so we're going to have up to 45% increased Unyielding damage, which is Bulwarks, Reapers, and Monstrosity bosses. The same thing, remember, is also on our Bolter, so we can mag dump like a Burgle or something like that, and they'll take massive 45% increased damage from that. Duelist over here, up tons of uptime on this, tons of crit. So we're going to be getting finesse damage, by the way, applies to headshots, but also to crits. And we're going to be having lots of crits. So this is going to stack up to be a lot of damage over the course of the game because we're very dodgy, we're very fleet of foot. Sunstorm Grenade, remember, this is a support build, right? So you can go for the Blades of Faith, but then you're kind of like veering into the, like, I'm the offensive, I'm the DPS category. We really want to be there for our team when they're in a pinch. And think about this, right? First of all, when you've got enemies pushing in on you, you can get right up on them, you can make them take swings at you and waste their time and dodge out of the way, and then when they start to see your allies and go for them, chorus. And you chorus and you chorus and you chorus. You get 7 seconds there, during which time your allies are like, you know, just doing whatever they do. Then, after the chorus finishes, drop a stun storm grenade at your feet. And now that enemy horde is paused there for the next 5-10 seconds. Well, I forget exactly how long it is, but it's a very long time. And that will allow you plenty of time to either reposition, or your allies to reposition, or perhaps even you get a couple of backstabs in here and get some kills and get some crits so that our cooldown is closer to being done. And by the time you know it, you'll be able to chorus again. This just really honestly saves the game. It's like you get 3 charges, right? So it's like 3, okay, the situation is bad, I want to save the game and I want to win from here, cooldowns, and that's really nice. This is probably not the grenade pack that you'll want to be picking up if you've only got if you got a lot of grenade users, but if you got veterans with field improvisation, they can provide you 2 for free. This is assuming Havoc. It's 3 for free if you're playing any other difficulty, you know, every time you take a hit off the old ammo box. Coming down here, Until Death and Holy Revenant, of course. Over here, Sustained Assault just for some bonus damage. This is very commonly at, I think I had about 15% bonus damage from this in my games on average. Then Thy Wrath Be Swift. This is a talent that allows us to really commit to getting objectives done. Rezzing allies and doing like hacking minigames, you won't be interrupted by taking damage that would normally stun you during those, so you can be the hacker mans. You can pick this up and just tank through it. Normally you get hit by a melee and you stop, you just do it with this. And this also allows us to get a boost of speed and stay from, you just don't want to get stunned, right? Getting stunned is really bad. You do not want to be stunned when you're trying to do a chorus, and that's a game ender a lot of times. So yeah, watch out for that, and this will help you avoid that. Then down here we've got Shield of Contempt. Great defensive talent on not only us but our allies as well. It'll hop to them if they're in danger, if they're taking a lot of damage. It'll protect them even if they're downed on the ground, so you can take your time and get your cooldowns up before you attempt to revive on them. Over here we've got Good Balance, which is going to give us 25% damage reduction. This is very commonly active. I think I had about 40% uptime on this in the games that I played, and so yeah, this is a ton of damage reduction. It keeps us very topped off on our toughness. Providence is perhaps the most powerful node in terms of like just saving the game. Having 25% revive speed plus the 36% that's already on our Curios means we're rezzing people in less than 1.4 seconds, and that's very fast. You'll see that in the gameplay clip, right? You're able to pick people up before they've really even hit the floor from being downed, and that saves a ton of time. Remember that revive speed also applies to helping people up from ledges and getting nets off of netted people, trapper netted people, right? All those things are incredibly valuable, and doing them in less than half of the time it will make a massive difference. I'm not going to say it can make a massive difference. It will make a massive difference. It'll do the difference between saving the game or throwing the game. Down here we got Abolish Blasphemers. This again is a build that's designed for higher difficulties, so you're going to be seeing so many elites. This is most enemies at those difficulties, so it is 15% damage overall. Beacon of Purity, again, we're playing into higher difficulties, so Corruption is everywhere. It's Burgle Slime, it's Pox Gas, but also every enemy melee hit that does damage to your health does 30% of it as Corruption, and this will help you keep that off so your med kits and all that stuff is more impactful and you don't lose wounds. Then Chorus down here with the damage increase. Just be offensive with this, guys. Do not be a passive Chorus player. Watch the gameplay footage and watch how I use Chorus, right? Chorus is used for, okay, I am entering into a zone that's full of enemy gunners. I want them all to stop and I want my allies to advance and deal with them. That's when you use Chorus. You're using it and you are invulnerable while you're doing it. You don't care about what's shooting at you. You are there to disrupt them and stop them from being able to target you or your allies. That is how you use Chorus. You shut everything else down, and then your allies run in and just run everything over. Rough shot. Coming over here, we're going to grab Enduring Faith and Invocation of Death because we are getting lots of damage reduction and cooldown reduction from getting crits. And the way we're going to get crits is, of course, by having Blazing Piety, but also by having Scourge. And this is where I want to go back to what we were talking about in the intro part with the Lacerate blessing on this weapon. One of the hard things about Scourge is that in order to get Scourge going, you have to be attacking an enemy that's bleeding. And if the enemy is not bleeding, the only ways to get bleed on them is to get a crit. So without this talent, without any bleed stacks on the enemy already, your crit chance, even with Blazing Piety fully stacked up, which by the way, stacks by getting crits, is kind of low. So you need something baseline to get those crits started. Without Charge or without Shroud Field, it can be kind of hard to get those crit chains started, but thanks to Lacerate, we can attack this enemy, immediately give them bleeding no matter what state they were in before, and now we're going to be able to stack 30% crit over the next 3 attacks, which will happen in the blink of an eye, right? So now we're up to 30% crit, which is going to allow us to stack Blazing Piety up within 25 additional crits, and yeah, so that's going to be capped out way more commonly. We're going to be doing lots and lots of damage with bleeds across the game. And this is something I actually didn't have in my gameplay footage, but you know, the Lacerate, I mean, so just keep that into account, that I would have been doing so much more crits, so much more bleeding if I'd had that, and if I'd been thinking of my big boy brain. I was just testing something else out. And the other really big important reason why we want to have Scourge and Lacerate working together is Blinded by Blood. As I said before, getting enemies bleeding causes them to take 15% increased damage. This can be any source of bleeds in the team, so a Veteran Shredder Grenades or an Ogren's Batter are both going to apply bleeding and make those enemies take 15% increased damage, which is one of the reasons to have a support Zealot on the team. It's 15% increased damage to effectively everything. And then Blazing Piety down here with, of course, the crits and the damage reduction on the right side, but we're also picking up 10% crit chance for everybody when we have the left side over here, which is amazing, right? That's double the Psyker Aura, and crits are very, very impactful these days. So that's the whole build, guys. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you can help your team to win some games. And here is me helping my team to win games. Enjoy.
Data inbound. Continue. Defend. Status inoperative. Enemy I can only imagine you attempted random inputs until it worked, but it is now working. Good idea.
Let's go for it while there's nothing spawning. Let's go. This is when we move. Just back up a little bit here. I'll go get him. Pretty sure just spawned a horde around me.
America. Hop down, hop down. I don't want you getting trapped up there. side. Alright, push on them now. They're all suppressed. Let's keep pushing forward. I don't like this stuff behind us.
Excoriate the heretic! I judge thee!
Honk trap and traps. I'll get her rid. Oh. Okay, that's okay. Let's go back outside this door so he respawns inside here. I'll drop a stun grenade. Fuck off. Watch out, burst, you're dropping. Told you. Alright, we could probably stop camping the drop down now.
Be gone! Damnation! You're shooting at us! Impressive work, Psycho! The beneficent Emperor guides your hand. In Terra's name! Be gone!
Ow. Base.